Oh, Randy is so much better than Brendon, yeah. Randy is a very muscular man, and he is a hero to everybody. Brendon is a sissy. He's got a very...
Hello there, Bone Zone guys and a few girls. This is Randy. Liedtke from the Bone Zone podcast. Brendon's not here right now. I'm in charge of this intro because it's just me, so I'm doing things the way that I want, and that's just the way it is. Cool. This episode we have a very funny comedian. You may have seen him all over the place. This guy is a great guy, great comic, super funny guy. His name is Tom Rhodes. He has his own podcast. You should check it out. It's also on All Things Comedy. So go to allthingscomedy.com. Check out his podcast as well. A few things to promote, and then I'll get out of here and you'll listen to the podcast. Randy, will be in New York City, the Big Apple, as the locals call it, constantly. I've never been there before, so I'm going for the very first time. I'm doing a show for the New York Comedy Festival at Caroline's, November 6th. It's a Wednesday. It's at 7 p.m. It's the Comedy Central's Comics to Watch show. Pretty cool. I get to be on this showcase. Me and 8 other comics. So excited about that. And I have a handful of other shows in New York. I'll be there from the 4th through the 10th. And I'll be tweeting about those. So if you want to know about those other shows, follow me on Twitter at Randy Liedtke, Liedtke is how you spell my last name, not my first and last name combined, at Randy Liedtke. Brendon is going to be in Toronto for the Dark Comedy Festival. Go to darkcomedyfest.com, and he'll be there November 2nd. So check that out. Oh, and if you want to buy tickets to the show that I'm on at Caroline's, go to the New York Comedy Festival's website, nycomedyfestival.com. And it's on Wednesday, and it's called Comedy Central's Comics to Watch. Also, Brendon will be in San Francisco, November 14th through the 16th at the Punchline Comedy Club there. So go to punchlinecomedyclub.com, buy tickets. You have a few chances to see him there. That's a great club. Good opportunity to see him. And anything else? I thought I had something else. Oh, the intro song was written and performed by a musical genius, Matt Farley. And if you listen to our podcast, you've heard us talk about him before. And we are having him live in the studio November 19th. So he is coming out to Los Angeles. He lives in Massachusetts, so he'll be in LA, and he will actually be live in my house doing a podcast with us. We've never met him in physical person, and it should be pretty great. And we're doing another live video podcast on laughster.com for that episode. So mark that in your calendars. Go to laughster.com. And there should be an event already up for that, November 19th, Bone Zone, with special guest Matt Farley. Get your ticket now. It's free. But once you click on the ticket part, that will basically, it will remind you when it comes around. So do it now. Go to laughster.com. Find that event, November 19th, Bone Zone, with guest Matt Farley. And then they'll email you and remind you that we're going to do it. So live video podcast with the great Matt Farley, me and Brendon Walsh. This is the Bone Zone. Enjoy this episode. Tom Rhodes, and just do your thing. It's so cool when you do it. Just do your thing.
Everybody, he's got big muscles and he's better than Brendon, yeah. Tom Rhodes, you're a funny man. Tom Rhodes, you're an international comedian. Tom Rhodes, karate kick, baby, oh yeah. Tom Rhodes, you're a groovy dude. You go all around the world. telling jokes to all of the people. You are an international comedian. You're funny to everybody in every single country in the world. Tom Rhodes, I like you very much. I think you're talented and very wonderful. Tom Rhodes, you're the best guy in the world. I wanna be your friend, you should call me sometime. Here is my phone number, 603-644-0048. Yeah. Tom Rhodes.
Welcome back,
You're an
ladies and
international
gentlemen,
comedic
to
sensation.
Bone Zone After Dark.
Tom Rhodes.
Wow.
So now, we have his number.
I can't believe that.
He gave me his number in his
Like-
song. Maybe we should call Matt.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it was
I'm
funny.
so flattered. I had no idea there was a song about me.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
And
How does the one about you go?
It's basically they're all the same kind of
Brendon
structure.
Walsh.
Brendon
You're
Walsh,
very funny
funny
man.
guy.
well, I wonder. He's written a few about Brendon since we've started talking to them. So there's some that are more specific now.
Let's check one out.
Oh,
Let's see
I
how
love
many
this
he's
guy.
got.
And he lives
Yeah.
in Boston?
Outside of, it's somewhere in Massachusetts. Danvers, Massachusetts. I'm sure he's in the phone book if anybody wants to look him up and murder him. Or
Yeah.
you could just call him.
Just call
and
him.
he'll tell you where he lives,
Yeah.
and you can murder him that way.
Yeah.
Just throw your cell
Don't
phone
murder him.
away.
He's the only person who's ever written a song about me.
There's one called Brendon Walsh is a stand-up comedy dude. That's the original.
Yeah.
And then there's possibly the best Brendon Walsh music song made.
Do we know that one?
Just a second. Shit. Nothing. Okay. How about this one?
Oh, Brendon Walsh, you're a funny comedian guy up on stage telling jokes for the people, making the people
That's not the
laugh
original
'cause
one?
your
No.
jokes are funny.
This one's a
You're
recent,
a
more
scary
recent.
monster, yeah, Brendon Walsh. You pull all kinds of interesting pranks. You are a very intelligent human man.
I think we've heard this.
Yeah.
Probably have. This is the original.
When does it musically get
Do you ever get tired of hearing that you're an intelligent human man?
No, that's my ringtone. So I get to hear it twice a week.
Brendon Walsh.
Maybe this is the original because it's kind of like slow and
Comedy
sad.
man.
Yeah.
Brendon Walsh. Stand up, Jew.
And this is mine.
Ooh, Randy Liedtke, you are a funny guy. You are.
This one's better.
Yeah, this is a good one.
This is the best song ever written about me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Randy Liedtke poops 11 times a day.
Yeah. So. I mean, it goes on.
That's a catchy tune, though. 11
People
times.
tweet to me every
11
once in a while that song's stuck in their head.
That song gets way stuck in your head.
Yeah.
He's got a band called the Toilet Bowl Cleaners, and it's just all songs about going to the bathroom. And he was working on a new album, so I started tweeting him. Or no, wait, I think it started with me telling him that you poop 11 times a day. And then he was like, I'm working on a new Toilet Bowl Cleaners album,
Yeah.
so if you guys have any other, I'll write a song about that. And then we gave him pooping into like a wormhole. A lot of space-related poop songs.
Yeah, zero gravity poop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one like if you wipe your butt, don't blow your nose on that same piece of toilet paper. We gave him a lot. Yeah.
You gave him a lot to work with.
Yeah. A lot of good new. You just think like, who can write another poop song? But
Yeah, but he
Really?
claims. Well, his thing is that most bands only have one or two poop songs.
right.
So his band is all poop songs.
Yeah.
I mean, he has other bands, but
Yeah. He's got another band called Paparazzi and the Photogs, and that's all about celebrities.
that's what the song's about. The ones that we played at the beginning. That's that band.
Oh, that's who does the comedian
Paparazzi.
songs.
Yeah.
And then he's got one called the Hungry Food Band. It's all about food. Name anything. We'll find a song.
Pancreatic cancer.
Ooh, that might be tough. I don't know. He doesn't have any medical condition songs. How about like a celebrity of any
Stockholm
kind of food?
syndrome.
Stockholm. Okay. Well, Tom Rhodes
You are in love with your captor.
Really? That's
You have sympathy now.
Yeah, I'm
about
trying
how
to think
it
what band which one of his bands. I guess this is an appropriate time to announce that Matt Farley will be on our podcast in studio.
He'll be in the Bone Zone studios
Wow.
In about a month.
in about a month.
So
I think it's really endearing that the guy's making songs about comedians.
It's great, man.
Because we need a little pickup.
Yeah,
We need to be reminded,
Unless you're Bill Hicks, and then
he's a little bit anti Bill
yeah,
Hicks.
he's not a huge.
I
fan.
just saw Ari in San Francisco last week.
Ari Shaffir.
And and he doesn't think Bill Hicks ever did anything funny.
Really?
Yeah, he's like ardently against him, which I think is really humorous.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Nothing? He's like, no.
There's got to be something. There's no real.
So why is
one-liners
this guy against Bill Hicks?
probably the same reasons Ari is. I mean, I get it. Like, I don't have. I'm fairly indifferent towards Bill Hicks. I'm not like a rabid guy who's like, that's my fucking god, But like, I think he was really good, and I actually, indifferent's not the right word. I'd say I'm a fan, and I put on. There was an album he recorded in London. I forget what it's called. I think it's maybe just Bill Hicks live at some place.
Is it? I think it's it's like live at Oxford University.
Yeah.
It was 2
Yeah, that's
CDs,
it. Yeah.
and that was such an incredible piece of work because it covered like all the material from his whole career, even like jokes he did when he was younger and like about red lights and things like that.
Yeah, like dancing in the cop
Because it's like 1 hour each CD. Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. I think
that was really impressive because I listened to that, probably like, I don't know, God, it was a while. I was in Seattle. I bought it in Seattle. So it was like 2006, right in the midst of the fucking George Bush shit. And all the stuff he had about the Iraqi war
was all still
and
relevant.
Bush Sr., it was like you could play this for someone and they'd be like, well, he just doesn't like George W. Bush. And you'd be like, well, this guy died fucking
He's talking about his
in
dad.
1994. Yeah, so you don't think there's some kind of fucking empire agenda with this cocksucking family?
I love Bill Hicks, and
Sorry.
the politics and the philosophy behind a lot of the jokes.
Well,
not
it's
many
nice.
comedians' stuff holds up. You listen to it years after they're dead.
And holds up and is actually saying something, like, that's something, I struggle with. It's like trying to say something on stage. Because there are things I feel, I don't know if passionately is the right word. I don't think I get too passionate about anything. But yeah, I mean, the pointing out the fucking hypocrisies and, being a grown up and kind of seeing how much bullshit is being tolerated around us on a daily basis. Sometimes I feel like, we should figure out a way to address this on stage. Not that I want to be a fucking Bill Hicks or George Carlin, but there's, there's nothing wrong with saying something.
Yeah, the freedom to talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
Without being preachy.
Got to make it funny.
Yeah,
So,
that's
that's
the tricky
thing.
part.
You don't want to turn into one of those guys.
I think
Because I had a Trayvon Martin joke that I thought was pretty funny, and then after the verdict where the Zimmerman was not guilty, I dropped the joke. Just because I thought people would take it wrong.
What was the joke?
It really upset me, the Trayvon Martin murder. I mean, the child, he was a child, was murdered while holding a bag of Skittles. Skittles are my favorite candy. So now when I eat a bag of Skittles, I'll pour out a couple for my dead homie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably best.
After the verdict, yeah, it was it lost its humor.
Well, and then it's also
For me, anyway.
You get into that trap too, where because as a comedian, there could be something relevant that you have a great joke for, but then hanging on to it for even just a couple weeks too long is just the saddest. Where it's like
We're talking about something else now.
My Lewinsky joke into the. I mean, it's still funny.
Yeah, I did that with the McRib. Just a little bit longer than it was around.
It's still.
What was your
it still
McRib
comes
joke?
back.
I had a good McRib joke.
I don't remember, but maybe it was just the fact that I wish it would hang around longer. I don't know.
My McRib joke was, the McRib is back. Why does McDonald's keep taking the McRib on and off the menu.
Yeah.
I mean, haven't black people been through enough in this country?
Well, those of you at home listening, you're enjoying the dulcet racist tones of Tom Rhodes, America's #1 white power comedian.
That's not true. Let's play the song again.
That's
People
why.
all over the world think he's funny.
Well, and the song's also about how you're kind of unable to perform in the United States in
Why
many
do you-
places
Get it,
because of
international.
your agenda that you bring on the stage.
Come on.
Do you want to hear one of his Bill Hicks songs?
Yeah, let's hear Bill Hicks.
All right.
Oh, yeah, please.
Oh, lots of people out there. They talk about Bill Hicks. They say that guy was so deep. He came up with really intelligent, funny things. Well, I disagree with those people. I think that Bill Hicks didn't really have that much interesting stuff to say at all. If you're a stupid person, you might be very impressed with what Bill Hicks said. If you never
Most
had
negative song
an
you've ever
original
written.
thought in your life, then you might listen to Bill Hicks and say, wow, that guy is very mind-blowing.
Wow.
Yeah, there's one other one.
I like that he's so into comedy that he's writing individual songs about comedians.
Yeah, he's into comedy. I mean, he's just
It's like
really,
he watches something or listens to something, he feels it, and then he goes and writes a song about it.
I think he's just looking for anything to write songs about. His idea is like, if I have 100,000 songs online, then I just need one person to download each song, and then I make $100,000.
Yeah, if he makes $1 off of each song, then you see if he has 20,000.
I'm going to buy mine.
So
Yeah, there you
He's got my dollar.
Use it as
I'm
the,
going to ringtone. That's
intro.
great.
but also,
Or I'll play it on my podcast. That's fantastic.
Yeah. There's no licensing problems with Matt Farley. You can use this shit wherever you want.
he also just listens to a lot of podcasts. I think he goes on lots of walks. And
Yeah.
and he listens like. I remember when we interviewed him, he was like, "Oh, I started listening to WTF, and then I finished all of them, in a couple months." Like he just like listens to them back to back,
Podcasts are my main source of entertainment.
Tom Rhodes has a podcast.
Tom
called
Rhodes
the-
Radio.
It's called The Rhodes Zone, which we need to talk about.
You've been on it and you started crying.
I cried. It
God,
was
that's like, what is it, like 32 minutes in, and you're just like, God, I had to like hold you. I mean, you can't really see a visual on.
Well, it says
on
a lot about you.
podcast, but-
You're the Barbara Walters of podcasting. Got me to talk about a lot of deep shit. Yeah, no, did Tom's podcast in Austin where
I had a great year, man. I really, I got to do in New Zealand. I got to interview Kim.com.
Who's that?
He is on the FBI Most Wanted list, and the FBI and the New Zealand Army raided his mansion in New Zealand last year. He started megaupload.com,
Oh yeah.
where all these files
I know
with
that.
movies on it were exchanged freely.
That's why he's wanted.
Something like
that?
that,
Yeah.
But really interesting guy, and I went on the NPR of New Zealand while I was there.
Uh-huh.
And they asked me what did I want to do while I was there, and I said, I know it sounds silly, but I'd like to interview Kim.com.
Kim.com.
And I got to go to his mansion. Somebody was listening. I got invited to his mansion.
Wow.
And he's got his own private army wearing black with machine guns around his property.
That's what you fucking need.
And like an amazing, amazing mansion. I mean, the guy, he almost seems like kind of like a James Bond villain. But
Yeah.
the guy loves comedy. He's got a great sense of humor. And he's like really savvy about, the internet being the main marketplace of,
What was
Human
his
life.
mansion like?
nice.
Yeah, sick mansion.
It's a dump.
No kidding.
He had some.
Well, you know what? I was just talking to somebody about this. Like, I've been in like a few mansions in my day, and but if somebody's got kids, it's a fucking shithole. Like you could have the nicest fucking mansion from the outside, and then you walk in and it's just fucking. It looks like any other person's place with kids. There's just fucking toys and shit everywhere, crayon on the wall.
Kids ruin everything.
Well, they're a handful, I think. You mess up your mansion.
You just have to have like a basement. That's where the kids are.
Yeah. They turn your whole mansion into a basement.
Ugh.
Well, I guess it depends on what level of mansion you're maintaining, but kids just make everything sloppy looking, even especially a vagina.
Well, that was cool. I got to do that guy, and then last month I got to interview Terrence Trent D'Arby. Do you remember?
Yeah, the wishing well.
And sign your name.
Yeah.
Changed his name to Sananda Maitreya, and he lives in Milan, Italy. And he still puts out records. He does it all himself, and pretty smart internet guy as well.
Yeah. What's,
you are not allowed to mention Terrence Trent D'Arby or the past stuff.
Yeah,
guys only about the future, but really interesting guy. So,
is he rich from those songs? Probably, right?
I think he's done okay.
Gotta be.
I think he's done
Now,
okay,
what's
but he
with
was
the-
really funny and philosophical, and also huge comedy lover. You know, I believe in the power of a well-written email, and I emailed both of those guys
That's dope.
and got them on my podcast.
Where did you interview Terrence Trent D'Arby?
I did that one I was in Rome last month. I was going to take a train to Milan to go do it, but he wasn't available, and I had to do that one over Skype.
Oh, okay.
But you were in Rome and he was in Milan?
Yeah.
So that counts.
It's cool.
You guys are in the same country.
Right.
Yeah. That's what's yeah, you perform all over the world.
You're a globetrotting international comedy guru.
You heard
Have
the
you-
song?
Yeah.
Have you ever
Plays all over the world.
have you ever performed for the Harlem Globetrotters at like a corporate event?
No, I never have. But do you think one day children are going to finally wake up and realize that it's confetti in the bucket? It's like kids have
They
been
do
falling
that
for that
gag.
for the last 75 years. They've done that gag at every show.
I don't know. I've never seen the Harlem Globetrotters.
You never have?
They still play the Washington
Generals. Yeah,
Generals.
I would like to be the coach of the Washington Generals.
That'd be a great gig. Nothing is expected of you. What do you think those guys make a year?
What about the Washington? Oh, the players?
Yeah,
Ooh, I don't know.
can't be that much, right?
Well,
How many
Isn't there a
shows?
former star that's playing with the Harlem Globetrotters now?
I don't know.
oh, that'd be like being an announcer or something. You take a step down from the league, and now you're
Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
He's playing with the Globetrotters.
That's it. Is it?
No.
I saw the Trouters.
Oh yeah, at that fishing festival.
Yeah,
They bring trouts from all over the world.
some fucking weird fish, man. Weird fish. But I saw them one time. They play in small towns. You know, they played in my hometown.
How many people are at the thing?
A lot.
8,000?
No way. Probably under 1,000.
Well, that's like, well, how do they even? So they're spread out in a college basketball arena, like 800 people.
Well, they play. Maybe it was.
They
more.
drape off half.
Well, it was at
No,
the fairgrounds.
Wasn't
They
it? It
played
was
at the
Dennis
fairgrounds.
Rodman that went to North Korea with the Harlem Globetrotters. That's why he went there in the first place.
Oh, he
Oh,
went
he was
there.
with
It's Dennis Rodman that was playing with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Or
Fucking love that guy.
like-
That's you got to get him on your podcast.
I would love it. I need to send him an email.
Yeah, there you go. Dennis Rodman at
First of all, let me
DennisRodman.com.
compliment you on what nice face jewelry. I think.
Yeah. I dig your style, bro.
When you were knocking Madonna's labia out of shape.
Yeah, right. She's fucking banged a lot of dudes. I know a guy who banged Madonna.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah, he's on the World's Dumbest Show that I'm on.
Wait, are you allowed to
His
say
name
that?
is John Enos.
Are you allowed
I
to say
think
that?
that's like part of his claim to fame.
Oh, that's why he's on the
yeah,
show.
I think so.
Wow.
Well, I think he was like a soap opera guy or something.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, you know, it's funny, like with the internet, how some things you just never, where like anything you need to know is right there on your phone, in your pocket, but you just never research some things. Like I've been on that show for like 3 years and I've been like, what is it? What's that John Enos guy famous for? And people are like, oh, he was on soap operas. But I still never got to the bottom of it, even though I could have Googled it. But I know that he banged Madonna.
That's it. Then that's all you have to do.
Yeah. Not many people have banged Madonna. I'm going to Google him right now.
I mean, just out of respect.
Yeah. How many people do you think have had sex with Madonna?
Let's call her.
Or you could Google that. I'll Google that. You Google that. I'll Google this. Do you think we could call?
Remember that terrible sex book she put out that was just pictures? It
It's
was
called Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like her and like some bondage stuff. And
It was all right, you know. Oh, this guy's married now.
Oh.
He's a nice guy. I know him.
Ask.com. How many people has Madonna slept with? It's on here. It says the exact number of people Madonna has slept with is not known. She has had quite a few high-profile relationships, including Sean Penn, Dennis Rodman, and others. Okay, so at least 2.
John Enos isn't listed on there?
No.
He was, this says John Enos.
How would you like to have been the guy who went out with her after Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, right? You should fucking gotta wrap a dish towel around your dick. John Enos is perhaps most popular to soap opera fans for his portrayal of Bobby Marcino on The Young and the Restless. He played from 2004 to 2005.
Sorry.
What was that?
I was on a
Randy's just watching some Vimeo.
No, I was on a website and then some ad popped up. I was trying to figure out how many
That's
people...
really been getting on my fucking nerves, man.
Yeah.
Like the advertising, the sneaky advertising.
I hate that shit.
It makes me, it's like, you know what? I'm never fucking buying a Toyota now, motherfucker.
Right.
Because you sneakily, like there's a thing you have to click on to get to what you're going to, and then an ad like, oh, you're going to click on me.
Yeah.
Fucker. Got you, fucking sucker.
And they hide
Yeah,
the
I mean,
X.
you learn to live with the ad, and then you go after 10 seconds, you can skip it, the little Toyota commercial or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But a couple months ago, I was looking up Amy Winehouse videos, and so you do the click away commercial at the skip ad at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then there's all these fucking annoying pop-up advertisements
Yep.
while you're watching the thing, and then you got to click away. It's really irritating.
It's the fucking worst. And the ones with, because now you can't even mute them. Like you go to a thing and there's like a little ad in the corner and you go click mute, but it won't fucking mute. You got to mute it on your computer.
Well, I don't have any commercials on my YouTube videos. I mean, what would it be? Like some pennies?
You get, somebody just told me it was like for every, I forget what it is, but like
It's not that much money.
It's not a lot at all. No.
Right.
You,
I mean,
like
and it's not enough money
views, you get a check for
to
$200.
inconvenience my fans, your fans, anybody,
Right.
to make them like sit through some bullshit
Yeah.
commercial to
Fucking
watch your
Snickers commercial.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that I'm finding really funny is I go down these like, I go down these roads on YouTube of like, aliens. I've been watching a lot of fucking alien conspiracy stuff, and lately, I don't know, there's some pretty interesting stuff out there. You know,
What's
like
the best
NASA.
theory?
Well, just that we've been in no theory, but just like that we've been in contact with them for a while, and there's just a lot of stuff that the government's covering up. Like there is shit on the moon, there's shit on Mars that shows that it was inhabited. There's like lots of pyramid, like a lot of the Egypt stuff relates directly to the shit that's up on Mars and on the moon. There were some really cool transcripts. I forget the fucking link. But it was the Buzz Aldrin's talking. Like there's an interview with him. And he's like openly talking about a thing that was following them while they were doing their mission and how they were not scared, but they didn't want to say anything to NASA because they didn't want to come right out and say, hey, there's something following us. Because then they were like, well, we've been wanting to do this. We've been training. They might just be like, well, fucking come back right now. We don't know what that is. So they were asking him like roundabout questions like, hey, where's that, I forget what it was called, but it's like, when the thing launches into space, parts of it break off the further you go out, like, thrusters and shit. And they were like,
The rocket launchers.
Yeah. But there's, I forget what it was called, but yeah, part of their thing part of their spaceship, they, discarded, when they were already out of the atmosphere. And he was like, how far away is that thing? Because they're like, well, maybe that's that thing because it's kind of cylindrical. And NASA is like, it's 6,000 nautical miles away from you. And he's like, well, so we knew it wasn't that. So we decided, well, let's just sleep on it, see if it's there in the morning. It was still there. There were these transcripts of the astronauts talking when they get around to the backside of the moon because they knew they were out of they're out of radio contact from everyone because everything could get picked up, like if you have a ham radio or whatever. So they were very careful about what they say. But when they got around the backside of the moon, they're talking super candidly about, like, he's like, oh, you see those roads? There's this one crater that's got a name. It's near where they landed. Begins with an M. But he's like, oh, see those roads? See how they're triangulated and how they go up to there? And And then one of the guys, like, and they're calling him Rhodes and talking about, like different places there, like their places, and then there are these other craters, and one of the guy goes, God, could you imagine being one of the people who have to live in there? They never get out of there. And it's just like, what are these guys talking about? They're fucking NASA alien or spaceship guys. And they're just basically talking matter-of-factly about like, oh yeah, that's the, like, there's no specifics about like, oh, that's the mission or that's that type of alien that lives there. But they're, referring to roads on the moon and like things going on in the craters. There's a guy who just, an English guy hacked into the government's computers. This is all real recent too. And he's like an Asperger's guy. So he's like, whatever. He doesn't really have any agenda. He's really interested in free energy. Some kind of like, there's some kind of free energy technology that he wanted to know if the United States government had access to it or knew about like this free energy thing. I'm not the best at explaining things, but so it's like some kind of like where you self-generated energy or whatever. So he was hacking into United States government's computers for years, and mainly into the space mission stuff. And he said that he's uncovered there's photographs and documents saying that there's definitely aliens. And he said that there was a list of like 20 to 30 labeled as non-terrestrial military, higher ups in the military. The name's escaping me. But so he's basically saying there's aliens that are in our government and shit. The United States wants to extradite him to prosecute him and put him in prison for like 60 years. But the UK was like, no, you're not fucking taking this guy and putting him in prison for 60 years. And their reason was like, he'll kill himself. We can't give him to you because he'll kill himself. The guy's got Asperger's or whatever. And he was just, like those people are, those people, but like, well, you know what I mean? But when you have a thing like that, it's like, there's no real, it's just like, he was focused on, I want to find out about this energy stuff, and was finding all this other stuff. And there's no reason for him to make it up. It seems like he wasn't seeking any kind of attention. There are interviews with the guy, and it's all pretty like, doesn't reek of bullshit.
There was okay, let me just say, I've been to the Nazca lines in Peru.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people think were UFO landing strips, and I flew over it in a little rented airplane. They're totally UFO landing strips.
Of course they are.
And it's like the measurements of the pyramids and the Machu Picchu, the stones. Somehow there's some correlation between the stars and the way things were measured then. There was a woman on NPR last year who wrote a book about aliens and did all kinds of met top level security people, whatever. One guy had this theory that, and this was on NPR last year. The Area 51 thing that we've never been able to see. The Russians were fascinated by that Orson Welles radio play, War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
When that aired, a lot of Americans thought that we were under attack by aliens. So a bunch of people committed suicide that night, thinking that it really was an alien landing. Whatever year that was.
The 30s or whatever.
Something like that. So the Russians started mutating orphan children, doing little experiments on kids and making them look all fucked up and alien-like.
Yeah.
And they built a little spacecraft, and they crash-landed it.
To try and scare everyone that killed themselves?
So that, like, Americans would commit suicide en masse.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not a guy who's like...
They did that?
That's what this woman said.
Theory.
That's hilarious.
That happened to Randy. His parents did that. They made him look all weird to try and make him kill himself.
They're like, let's have a kid. Okay, they're like, how about this? In 10 years... we're going to have the coolest thing to take to a Halloween party. And they just like gave me weird stuff, and they put me near weird things.
Yeah.
But I turned
first
out
microwave.
I turned out pretty cool.
No, they who knows what's going on? You know, I mean, I'm not a guy who's like, there's definitely aliens, but like, probably, who knows? I don't fucking know. Nobody tells us anything. Like, I was just reading a thing online yesterday about Iceland, about their, you know how they went like bankrupt in 2008 because of all the fucking shit that the financial people were pulling.
Is Bjork okay?
Bjork is, she had to rejoin the Sugar Cubes. She had to track that guy down and get the band back together.
How many people do you think have had sex with Bjork?
Ask.com.
Okay.
That's gonna be
Maybe we could call the is there an Iceland embassy here? We could call them and ask them how many people had sex with Bjork.
They're probably closed at this hour.
We
But
could
there's
call
got to be one open in
Australia.
another country.
Yeah, Australia. It's only like 2 PM or something. Either way, again, you know, I'm not the most. I just kind of glean. I don't retain specific. I envy that in people where they just like rattle off like a fucking college professor. They're like, no, this is what happened and this is how it did. And I just kind of get a general vibe for what's going on, you know. And I'm like, oh no, it's fucked up. Fucking Cheney. He's just an asshole, is what it is. Halliburton. Like I just get buzzwords and repeat them. But the Iceland thing is really interesting because they had complete financial collapse because the banks, all their banks were like state run or whatever. Everything was fine, but then they bowed to. Then all the banks were privatized, like in 2002 or something, which led to them getting in all kinds of debt. And then in 2008, when all that shit went down, the country was bankrupt, like completely fucked. And then the government's like, okay, well, we have to like tax. There's only like 400,000 people who live in Iceland. And they were basically like, well, everybody's going to have to pay $100 a month for the next 15 years to get us out of this. And Iceland was like, all the people were like, fuck you, and totally got the government fucking thrown out. It's a really interesting story because it's basically exactly what's going on here, but we're not doing anything about it. You know?
Right, nobody gives a
but
fuck
it was
about anything.
totally unreported. Like there were just riots going on for forever in Iceland. You didn't hear a peep in the media here. I don't know why I got on that, but something to do with the internet.
Bjork.
Iceland.
No,
I think you covered it.
We got into
Iceland.
Well, I mean, but you look at they raised that bus fare in Brazil.
and people freak out.
And people started having riots against the government saying, look, you know, you're building all these $1 trillion soccer stadiums for the World Cup and the Olympics. And, you know, we need new schools.
Yeah.
We love soccer, but we need schools. And there's so many poor people there. I mean, like they just raised it like a quarter. And then in France, they always have like worker strikes and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what would it take for the American people to fucking get
Well,
off
you know
their
what?
asses?
We fucking did it though. That I was really moved by the Occupy Wall Street movement because I thought, oh man, I thought people were so complacent here already.
It seemed like something exciting
was
was about
like,
to
holy
happen,
shit,
and then
people-
winter arrived.
No, the fucking police came in and smashed it all up,
Yeah.
and there was zero
Pepper spray.
fucking coverage
Yeah.
by the media. I mean, like just here and there with the tone of like, well, those nut bags are still in the park pooping on the fucking pooping in
Right.
buckets. Instead of like, yeah, there's been a hostile takeover of this country by
It was
business.
almost like the Tiananmen Square thing, where it was like, wow, they had this really hopeful moment where it seemed like the whole consciousness of the nation was going to change. And that's what it seemed like with the Occupy movement in the States too.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was like, oh my god, like people are waking up.
Yeah,
And then, no,
it's so easily smashed right back down.
Yeah.
Randy's dad was that guy in Tiananmen Square with the shopping bags.
the one who stopped the tank.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't talk to my dad. What did he do?
he stopped the tank in Tiananmen Square. Do you even know what Tiananmen Square is?
Yeah, that's, I don't know. Is it a food court?
It's in Mall of America.
Yeah, it's where the Asian food is.
Nah, it's where whatever. There's a guy stood in front of a tank.
Sounds familiar.
Remember that?
Yeah, yeah. No, I know that. Big moment. That was within the last handful of
Probably
years.
like 85.
Yeah.
maybe.
20 years ago.
85
now.
years ago, yeah.
I don't think 85. Wasn't that like 90?
Wasn't that long ago?
91, maybe.
I don't know. Time's just slipping away, man. Slipping. It's all over for me.
It's just
You're
beginning.
going to turn this around, Brendon.
Yeah, let's turn it
feel it.
around.
I feel it.
We have Tom Rhodes here. I've known Tom for probably close to 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
Gotta be. Austin is probably where we met the first time.
Okay, yeah, and then Reno for that horrendous gig.
Yeah, Reno is where we got to know each other. That's when.
It's like we were in Nam, baby.
Yeah,
We were in Reno together.
Comedy really bonds people pretty quickly, especially when you're both independently working in Reno. You don't know who you're going to be working with, and you're like, "Oh, I know that guy. He's all right." Like we bumped into each other at the Mel's Diner, and I was like, "Oh, are you working here this weekend?" Tom's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, I'm opening for you," and we were both like, "Oh, thank God." Could be a fucking fat guy in overalls with a straw hat. You never know.
which that audience would have liked more than us.
Yeah, fuck that place, man.
Yeah, it was like people in sweatpants and free T-shirt, cigarette giveaway.
Yeah, just fucking cigarettes. People like rigged up. They like rig up. I actually did see this in Reno. They rigged up like, you know, those like tinfoil kind of pie tins, you know?
Yeah.
Like they had one of those on a thing to hang like chest level to catch their fucking cigarette ashes while they played slot machines. Yeah.
Wow. That's like the harmonica holder for
Yeah,
losers.
it's like a Bob Dylan. Yeah, it's like the Marlboro Man. They're the Bob Dylan of Marlboro.
I
Man.
thought you were gonna say it was for like barbecue sauce falling off of like their face or something.
Nah, cigarette ash.
Cigarettes. Because I was like, that's a good idea
Well, let's do
for
it.
rib night.
But in Nevada, that's being environmentally conscious.
Yeah. Oh, fuck Reno, man. Actually, Reno is like, yeah, it's just a bad introduction to Reno to have to perform at that Funny Bone there. It's got
Where's
its
it at?
charm.
Does
Is
that
it in
place
a
still
casino?
exist?
Probably not. I mean, not in my world anymore. I'm not fucking. I wouldn't do that again. There was a girl that I was, kind of like.
Boning.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Just had a fling with her a couple times. She wound up moving to Reno, and then I was like talking to my agent about getting booked in Reno, and like, yeah, none of the gigs were even like. There was one that came up, and I was like, I don't want to get laid that bad. Fucking go to fucking Reno for 3-4 days. I think it was like a long one or something.
Right.
There's still someplace there, probably. Any Reno listeners, call in with your favorite comedy club in Reno. We'll give you 2 tickets to an upcoming Bone Zone event.
Yeah. And a meal for 2 people at Reno's best restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Reno is a
fucking,
place comedians don't want to play.
whatever. It's all. I think I did that. I think I did Reno at Stanhope once. That was probably all right. But that was just in a bar. So many of those weekends are just drunken fucking. Like that weekend we did together. I remember. All I really remember from it was bumping into you at Mel's Diner and being like, thank God. Some vague memories of the room and this, you being on stage. Me, I don't even remember me being on stage, but I remember you being on stage. And there was a liquor store up the street, and I think I tore through like fucking 3 bottles of vodka over the course of that weekend.
Yeah.
Just fucking going to the liquor store. You and I would hang out and drink after the shows in one of our rooms, smoke cigarettes. I have like one memory of that one night. I don't know. You lose a lot. There was something, yeah. Fuck.
It wasn't at a casino. It was like
No, it was in a casino.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
I
like
think we went bowling once.
That's a big bowling area.
Yeah.
I remember a kid I grew up with. That's where they have like a big bowling tournament every year. It's like 300 bowling lanes or something. Reno,
Maybe we went
Yeah.
bowling.
the home of bowling.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember much of it. I don't remember a lot of like
Road stuff.
comedy. Yeah. Just like little flashes here and there of like, oh yeah, I remember that. But yeah, lots of boozing, man. It's what you do.
Yeah, well, I did the road for a really long time. I mean, I've got, multiple memories.
Did you start? When did you start?
I started when I was 17, but I went on the road when I was 18.
So
So I did Florida
it's like early
first, and then
90s?
the southern circuits. I started in 84.
Oh shit! So then you
Went on the road into 85.
so you've you probably worked with Hicks or
I did.
knew
I
him
knew
and
him.
stuff. Yeah,
Nice guy. I mean, we weren't buddies, but he was nice to me. He was friendly.
yeah.
I did a podcast episode with his brother Steve.
Okay.
And, Bill was a great guy. I've worked with, Jesus, Everybody.
Well, shit, yeah. Did you ever work with Louis Anderson?
Bill Hicks straight to Louis Anderson.
I met Louis once on my first trip to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, did he try to fuck you?
He was very friendly and supportive.
Hey, come see my mansion. Little Mexican servant boys. You want a beer? Cervezas. Cerveza. Cervezas.
Cervezas.
Cervezas. How about see, there's Bill Hicks,
Gallagher.
Louis Anderson. Who's another comedian?
I don't even know one more.
You know, God, Jesus, had lots of wild times with Hedberg.
Yeah, you and Mitch
Stanhope.
started in Florida.
I met Mitch when I was living in San Francisco.
Okay.
In the 90s. He came out there. God, everybody. Yeah, Mitch was, that was when I learned in the state of Texas, the maids have to check on you after 3 days of the do not disturb sign on your door to see if you're alive or not.
Yeah.
That's like Texas law.
Oh, that's in Texas. 3 days. That's kind of a rule because I rarely get my room cleaned too, just because there's usually some pot smoking or whatever. I just don't want anybody fucking coming in. But they do that in a lot of places though. I think might not be 3 days, but definitely after like 4 or 5, you get that note under your door like we're coming in whether you like it or not. Happened in Australia to me.
I worked with John Fox, the famous road dog.
I worked with him.
He was, he fell apart, towards the end and was kind of a sad figure. But
Yeah.
I remember being a young comedian and working with him, and he still had a little bit of heat coming off the Rodney Dangerfield special that he was on.
Yeah.
And he'd walk by the waitress station and go, "Fuck me before I'm famous."
I worked with him at the Comedy Underground in Seattle. Probably that same summer I was in when I stayed in Seattle for a summer. It was probably 2006. 2006, and I worked with him there. Yeah, he was pretty haggard at that point.
Yeah, well, you can't be a Viking, coke snorting wild man.
Yeah.
For too long before you start looking shitty.
He had one of the most impressive resumes. As an intro, but none of it was true though. It was like said he did the Tonight Show over like 11 times or something. I don't think he ever did it once. Yeah, because I called. There was some, Duncan Strauss. You know that guy, right?
Yeah, of course.
I was talking to him and Colleen while I was there and mentioned, or maybe I just emailed him like, has John Fox done? Because there were it was like Tonight Show and Letterman Show. Combined, it was like 19 appearances they were saying in his introduction, and I emailed Duncan. It was like, "Is that true?" And Duncan's like, "Oh, I'll check it out." And then he emailed me back. He's like, "You're not gonna believe it, but he hasn't done any of that stuff." But he was we got along all right. Just fucking as long as you went to go get drunk after the show.
Yeah,
I wasn't doing coke or anything. Who else? Who else was big when you were starting?
Starting? I started out with Brian Regan in Florida. He was a couple years older than me, so he was always the headliner. So I did like loads of crappy one-nighters in Florida with Brian, and he was always clean.
Yeah,
and he was just as physical and funny as he is now. I remember playing like tough biker bars in Daytona.
Oh yeah,
and he never deviated from the kind of guy that he still is. So it wasn't like he had some secret 5-minute dick joke hunk that he pulled out.
Yeah.
He always did like really clean stuff, and he was great.
Somebody I think it was Drew Carey, was talking about Brian Regan and how he said Regan tried to be dirty. Like he did it once, was like, wrote some dirty jokes and just said, I don't feel it's just not me. Like he just is naturally what he is, like clean. And that being said, I still have never seen a lick of Brian Regan. Everybody loves him though. Universally loved.
Yeah,
he's funny.
He's great.
It's just so hard for me to fucking sit down and watch, be
Really?
like, I'm
On your
going to
own
watch
time.
a comedy thing for an hour now.
I'm a fan. I mean, I watched Maron's new special on Netflix last night.
I saw it I think I put it in my queue. I'm the master of putting comedy specials in my Netflix queue.
I was in L.A. I'm in L.A. now talking to you, but I wasn't working last Saturday, and they had that big Festival Supreme at the Santa Monica Pier. And I was just thrilled that I was in town because I had read about it.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, I went just as a comedy lover, as a fan.
Wow.
And it was great. Eric Idle sang Monty Python songs.
Oh, wow.
Hannibal Buress, Patton Oswalt, I saw them do sets. Tenacious D were great.
Neil Hamburger?
I didn't get to see him. I mean, I think that stage was really packed.
Oh, it was like a multiple stage.
It was like 3 stages. Oh. I think that's like a real high water mark for comedy in America, the fact that they could have this big festival, and shows you the popularity of comedy right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to. Actually, I did legitimately have.
Wasn't a fucking bluegrass festival.
No. Another thing I don't think I would want to go to. I just can't, there was the show that I work for, one of the producers was like, oh, I have tickets to that festival. And he's like, I got you a ticket and Chris Fairbanks a ticket. And I had to write. I had shit that I had to do on Saturday because I'm writing this thing with Randy and another guy. And it's just, 3 different schedules. But, yeah, I don't know the thought of that because when he mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go. And then on the drive home from work that day, I was like, wait, I don't want to fucking drive to Santa Monica to watch fucking comedy for 8 hours. That seems horrible.
Yeah, the drive to Santa Monica would be the worst part.
That is, I really have become an LA asshole like that. Where I'm like, is it more than 5 miles away from where I live? I shan't.
Have you tried this new app, Uber?
Yeah.
And that's what I did because I knew I was going to drink.
Oh, yeah.
So I took Uber there, like a big shot. So like a dark Lincoln town car showed up, picked me up. Wasn't that bad. Wasn't that expensive.
Uber's pretty good.
A taxi would have been more.
Yeah, I've been using Uber.
And it's so much cooler to arrive in a black Lincoln town car than a friggin' beat up crappy taxi that, smells like fucking
feet and fucking...
Even if you use the lower end of Uber, which isn't town cars, but they're generally, obviously they have some sort of rule. It has to be a certain year or whatever. But the worst car that I've been in was a Prius at that. You know what I mean? They're usually like brand new cars. The Uber X.
Yeah,
I liked it. I'm a fan.
It's good.
It was great. And then we were done with the festival. I was a little boozy.
Yeah.
Friggin' got picked up.
Yeah, that's how, if I had
I was Steven Spielberg's kids, that's how they go to concerts.
They were on the show.
Were
They did comedy on that.
The Spielberg
festival.
twins.
Yeah, the Spielberg twins. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should I watched a George Carlin special a couple weeks ago. It was that last one that he did. What's it called? It's Bad For You, maybe? It's the last, I think it's the last one he did, and he did it live on HBO. Yeah, it was really good. Carlin's a guy that I've had trouble getting into over the years. I have all of his albums, but I don't think I've never was like Steve Martin, Bill Cosby. Those were the ones that I listened to.
I didn't like his early stuff. I thought the stuff he did at the end of his life where it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, no, that special was really good. It was really sharp. I mean, he was like 70 when he did it. And a lot of it was kind of cheerleading. Not cheerleading, but just kind of like, this is fucked. And, but applause break after applause break. But there was one point where I was like, wait, when's the last time I laughed? It's been 20 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I fucking agree with this. Like, he's fucking Malcolm X.
Have you seen the George Carlin Twitter account?
No.
There's somebody I think it's like Revolutionary Books, and then there's all these different historical people like Babe Ruth, Thomas Jefferson, Voltaire. I think they're kind of all the similar. It might be the same people that's doing these Twitter accounts, but let me find it. It's all really like kind of Marxist.
Do you follow Florida Man?
Yeah, I do.
It's fucking one of the best ones you ever seen. That, Randy?
No, but you've told me about it. I should just
there
follow
you go. George Carlin. All right, here we go. And it's always the tweets. They're not even jokes of Carlin's. They're all like, what's the difference between a football hooligan and a soldier? Nothing. They're both dumb enough to die for a country owned by the rich. That's it. It's always like these kind of Marxist mantras, and they're not even Carlin bits.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, who hijacked the... What it's and there's a lot of knock jokes like knock, go fuck yourself, capitalist pig. That's like an average tweet by the George Carlin account.
Fuck! I just thought of something. Now it escapes me.
How many Call of Duty designers does it take to screw in a light bulb? They're too busy screwing the minds of boys with war propaganda.
You got to read it in a call and delivery. Oh, that's what it was. The beginning of the special, which I thought was really interesting. The George Carlin, his last one. I think it's called "It's Bad for You." And he comes out, and the first words out of his mouth are "fuck Lance Armstrong" and "fuck Tiger Woods."
Yeah.
And it's like,
and that was before their scandals.
Way before their scandals. And it was really interesting to just watch him just be like, these two guys who were like, couldn't have been more beloved at the time.
Right.
Where you're just like, fuck that Lance Armstrong with that dead-eyed fucking look, that fucking steroid taking like, he just laid it all out, like was right on the money with fucking Lance Armstrong. And Tiger Woods, I forget what he didn't, obviously he didn't predict that he was, banging a bunch of chicks or whatever. But also, I forget what his point was. See, I got to pay attention to stuff more. Like the worst, like the most partially informed guy. It's like, I kind of have a feeling about everything.
But I'm partially informed.
Yeah. My phone's blowing up, dogs. Just tons of fucking faves.
Yeah.
So you're going to, we got Tom Rhodes here, Randy.
Hi.
This is an interview episode of the Bone Zone.
Is this like an interview? I thought
Oh
we
no,
were
we're kind of hanging out. Yeah, we're shooting the breeze. Listening to Matt Farley songs. You started in 80. When did you say?
84.
Jesus Christ. So that's like
30 years.
Gary Shandling?
Almost.
He was never a road guy though.
No. I mean, he did like California stuff, but I never saw him.
And you started in Florida.
Yeah.
And then moved to San Francisco.
I remember seeing Rodney Dangerfield when I was like 17.
Oh shit. Did you ever meet him?
And I loved Rodney. And a good friend of mine from high school that I went to the concert with, we both knew every joke, had memorized Dangerfield's albums.
Yeah.
And he was terrible. It was at the Tupperware Theater in Orlando, and he was drunk. And he couldn't remember his act, and he was terrible.
Wow.
And then the show ends, and there was like no security there. Me and my buddy wanted to meet Rodney, so we like jumped up on the stage, went around the side of the curtain, and went in the back. And his dressing room, the door was open, and he's sitting there in his underwear. And he's got a Miller Lite in front of him. And he's like a drunk old guy. And I found out years later that that's what Catskill comedians would do. When they got off stage, they'd take off their pants,
right,
so that they could preserve the crease and the dry cleaning of it, keep their suit fresh. And then his manager guy goes, "Hey kids, get the hell out of here!" And we're like, "We want to meet Rodney."
Yeah.
And I was like, Rodney, would you sign this? And I gave him a piece of paper, and it wasn't even worth saving. It was just like a wavy line.
Right.
He was so hammered he couldn't even write his name. And then the manager guy goes, "You wait outside this exit door." And there's like a waiting Lincoln Town car for Rodney, and it's like 20 minutes later. Rodney comes out and he's plastered, and it's only 3 cement steps from the door to the waiting Lincoln Town car. And he goes, "Okay, give me a hand there, kids." And he puts one arm around me and one arm around my buddy John Forrester, and I'll never forget carrying this old man's torso down the steps. And then, like, gently putting this drunk old man into the back of the Lincoln Town car, and then it drove away.
That's pretty cool.
And that was the moment that I decided what I wanted to do with my life.
This guy's got a car picking him up. I actually remember an interview with Drew Carey on. It was like after he got big, and it must have been with Letterman or something, and they were talking about Johnny Carson, how he, would change people's lives overnight. And Drew Carey said, he was like, yeah, before I did the Carson show, I was like a comedian. I was making like $1,100-$1,500 a week doing comedy. And then everything changed overnight. And I remember thinking like, fucking $1,500 a week. Sign me up. Yeah. I was like, what? That's the fucking shitty. That's the low. That's the bottom for you. I mean, that seems all right. But then you realize like, it fucking sucks. They don't take into account a lot of stuff for the $1,500 a week. Get to pay your fucking.
I love Drew, and I remember when he first made it on the TV show, and there was like some TV Guide or People Magazine expose on him, and like they made a big deal out of the fact that he had slept in his car.
Oh yeah,
traveling as a comedian, and I was like, we've all fucking slept in our cars.
Yeah.
You got to sleep in your car a lot.
Yeah.
As a comedian,
especially when you're driving through Florida.
You got no money, and you can't afford a hotel.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Drew about that. I've been opening for him lately, here and there.
I loved Drew, and he's still such a nice guy. I went with him to a Seattle Sounders game. I was in Seattle. Yeah. And living in Europe made me a huge soccer fan. And my mother's from Argentina. I've been down there and seen a match where a stadium was set on fire, and the riot police came in and tear gassed everybody. I mean, like, I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I've been to 1,000 baseball games. I never saw the crowd get tear gassed. And so I was in Seattle like 2 years ago, and I got in touch with Drew, and I got to sit in the owner's box with him.
Yeah.
And it's like the nicest stadium, that Seattle Stadium, whatever it is, where the football team plays.
I don't know what it's called. But.
And it was awesome. And it's like, he's...
Safeco.
That's it. He's gone on to, such incredible heights, but he's still he's still a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Like, still a good guy, if you and I hadn't seen each other in a couple years, we'd pick up where we left off.
Yeah. No, he's a good dude. Fucking, and why? He's got no reason not to be. He, totally won the fucking game of life,
Is there a better Price is Right game than the Mountain Climber?
I fucking love it. I love all things Price is Right. We went to a taping.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, because I've been working with Drew for about a year. He, he's like, yeah, if you ever want to, because I had a girl come in that I was going to go to Disneyland with, and it was supposed to rain the day we were going to go to Disneyland. So I texted Drew and was like, hey, if it's raining, can we come to the Price is Right? He's like, oh yeah, anytime. Just, I don't even need a lot of notice. Just give me a text. We wound up going to Disneyland.
Big money.
No, that's Wheel of Fortune. But,
is it?
I think that's when they clap and say big money.
Probably, yeah.
Well,
when they do the big
when they
the
do
wheel.
well, they want $1. They just want to get $1.
Okay.
Yeah. Or the green or it's just $1. But either way, Randy had a friend visiting and was like, hey, do you think we could go to the Price is Right? I was like, yeah. So I texted Drew, me and Randy and our friend Johnny and Randy's friend Todd,
Jason.
So Todd and Randy and me and Johnny went. But on our way, we all got matching outfits. And we all looked like we worked at gas stations. We had a backstory all set up where we worked at a gas station in Temecula called Revers, and we all took the day off to come to the Price is Right. We were famous for our hot dogs. There's a whole story grew out of it. But it was so much fucking fun because Drew came out. They give us good seats. We didn't have to wait in line or anything. And as soon as Drew came out, he saw us and just fucking started cracking up, and then just proceeded to fucking pick on us during every commercial break, with the rest of the audience not knowing that we're buddies. So they were just kind of like, this is fucked up. He's kind of being a dick to these guys. It was fucking great. We had the whole crowd chanting wieners at one point because we were talking about our hot dogs.
It was great.
Fantastic. Drew told me it's so hard for him on the Price is Right when somebody wins a car for him not to go, you want a fucking car?
Yeah. That's in his act.
Was it really?
Now it is, yeah. Well, he's back on, he's trying to build up
good
time to do he wants to do a special
made me laugh one-on-one. So.
He's a funny guy, man. He's a happy, funny guy. So you knew him before he got famous?
Yeah, one of the very first I think the first television taping I did was Evening at the Improv.
Oh, yeah.
And, God, Brad Garrett and Drew Carey, all these people were on the show. And then, not the episode I did, but around that time. And they would do, a taping every day with, multiple shows, and then Drew and I did one called Comedy on the Road.
I remember that.
And we filmed ours in Acapulco.
Oh, see. If
So
that's
I met Drew and kind of bonded with him. In Acapulco. It was amazing.
See if find a Tom Rhodes from A&E's Night at the Improv. See if that's on YouTube.
All right.
I don't think it is, but there is. I've put some older stuff of me on.
Somebody
YouTube.
else might have put it up there.
Somebody put up
what improv did
MTV
they do that at?
half-hour comedy hour that I did.
What year was that?
Oh my God, like 90, 91.
Oh wow. Is that when did Stanhope do his? Is that no? It wasn't called the half-hour or was it?
It was. That was their show.
Oh, okay. Jim Brewer. Was
All
it
those
Jim
guys,
Brewer
yeah.
hosting it? RHODES.
What am I even searching?
A&E Night at the Improv. Tom Rhodes comedy on YouTube. Just find the oldest one where he's got the dumbest hairdo.
That's probably the one that was the MTV half hour.
Where are you going now? You're going to
I
Hong
am
Kong.
going to Hong Kong Monday for a week, and then Beijing for a week, and then Shanghai for a week. And November 30th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I'm doing a huge show at the Stateside Theater in Austin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it's I've handpicked my favorite Austin comedians.
Oh, that's great.
And it's going to be the first live recording of my podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of historic. I haven't done a live recording. I love Austin, as you know. You lived there. The original edgy comedy that's always come out of Austin. So
they always
it's kind
have
of
good guys.
Yeah, and it's kind of a celebration of the unique, inventive comedy that comes out of Austin. And a lot of great guys, Lucas Melendez, Chris Cubas,
He's been
Mike
getting
McRae.
McRae's
a lot of great comedians.
So you're doing a show and then a podcast, or is
I'm
going to
record the show.
Okay,
I'm going to record it, so it's not going to be like an interview podcast. It's going to
so
be
it's
like
just a stand-up,
a live. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. The state's great too. Well, we did that.
The Ari Shafir storyteller show there at the Moon Tower Festival.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful theater. It only holds like 500 or something. It's really intimate.
It's a great size. Yeah,
it's perfect for comedy.
That's awesome.
So, Austin people.
Hey, Austin people.
Come on out.
This is Brendon Walsh, your God speaking. Go see my buddy Tommy Rhodes next door to the Paramount Theater, where Aziz Ansari is doing 4 sold-out shows that night. But, hey, man, doing 4 sold-out shows. Kanye's coming. Go see Tom Rhodes at the Stateside? Is that what they're calling it?
Is it the State Theater or the Stateside Theater?
I think it's just the State Theater, but they call it Stateside. You know what? I don't know. I haven't lived there in a while.
Right.
But State Theater, right next to the Paramount Theater. It's a fucking great place to do. It's like it was made for
comedy.
Show,
so
November 30th. What's that? Saturday after Thanksgiving?
That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I got some hard-hitting, good new stuff, some stories involving certain people you've mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah? Louis Anderson? So fucking blowing the lid off Louis Anderson's secret life.
So I got some spicy tales.
Tom had, when we did that Moon Tower Festival last year, and I think I'm going to go back.
That was this year.
Yeah. This is the last one in April. And I had gotten... I got super high, like by accident, like when someone's like, oh yeah, you want to, and you're like, yeah, I'll take a fucking hit of that without even thinking like, oh, I haven't smoked pot for 2 weeks or something. Like I had just gotten back from Australia. I smoked a little bit of pot with someone and then was like, oh fuck, I don't want to fucking, just one of those where like I wasn't freaking out or anything, but I was like, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody for a little while. So I'll just go and check out some shows. And I went into that Hideout, which is also a cool little venue. And Neil Brennan was doing his like half-hour long show. But it was one of those venues where once you go in, you can't leave because basically you have to walk like
Was
across
that the one
the
Neil
stage.
and I did together?
Yeah, you guys
yeah.
split it. So I was like, oh, Neil Brennan, okay, I'll go sit in the back and watch some of his show until I'm fucking unhigh enough to carry on a conversation. And it was a great experience because, yeah, like I said, it's hard for me to go watch comedy. I think part of it is also I don't want to. I'm very easily like, I don't know, like if somebody has even like the slightest remote kind of idea that I have in one of my jokes, it just fucking rattles me so much where I'm like, oh, now somebody's going to say I'm fucking ripping him off or I got to drop that fucking joke. So I think I keep myself sheltered a little bit on purpose just so I'm like, I haven't seen anyone. So if I don't know, it's so I can just kind of just be me. But Neil Brennan was great. I had never seen him do more than, 5 minutes or whatever. LA, you never see anybody do more than 10 minutes. So he did his half-hour show, and then, yeah, you were splitting the bill with him. And then, again, to my surprise, Tom Rhodes always surprising me. Or maybe I knew you were on it, too. I don't remember the going in. But, like, then you came out, and fucking I was quoting your jokes more than I was telling my own jokes that whole weekend. What were the two? There were two of them. One of them's an old one about the pit bull, right?
The pit bull finger.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the YouTube comment thing.
Yeah, the Martin Luther King.
You got AIDS, faggot.
Yeah. The joke is if they had like YouTube back in like throughout history, and like Martin Luther King would post his "I have a dream" speech, and the first comment would be like, I got a dream. You got AIDS, faggot." And then the pit bull one is they say when a pit bull's attacking you, they say to put your finger in its butthole, make it stop. And Tom says, what if that's why he was attacking you in the first place? I feel like you had another new one too. Oh, yeah. It was like you were still kind of working it out. It was about the presidential candidate show.
Yeah,
like the guy,
boner.
taking dick pics, like that there's going to be a president where dick pics surface, like, 40 years from now, definitely.
Yeah.
Like every fucking
Everybody's
kid
taking a
is taking-
picture of their dick.
Yeah. Are you still working that?
Yeah.
Is that's fucking-
These
that's
are my.
such a great
These are
idea.
my. We're giving away my best bits.
So
People go to the Austin show.
So if you're busy in Austin, you get the idea. What that's all the anchor points of the show. Yeah, I should. Sorry.
No, I'm glad you like it. I
mean,
mean, I got some good hearted and stuff right now.
I got to do that
It
shit.
makes me happy.
Randy's got to write too.
What?
Yeah, you got to fucking write more.
Nah, if I stay unknown forever, I can do the same jokes.
It's worked for a lot of people.
How does it go when you're like traveling around the world? It's mostly expatriates, right? Like it's you're not having-
always. Singapore, Kuala Lumpur.
but you like people have to
those are
kind of
locals.
understand English.
A lot of places are expatriates.
Yeah.
But I mean, Australia, England, Ireland, Canada.
Australia's
We won
great.
the lottery when it comes to the language.
Yeah.
But like Paris is expatriates, Hong Kong, Shanghai. Those will be mostly expatriates. But you got Americans, Australians, Irish, British, but also like German, Swiss, French, Italian.
How do you do in the UK?
I love it over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They dig like you do okay, like you get so you have a little bit of a following.
England was the key to me getting all over Europe and then doing all these worldwide circuits.
Okay.
The fact that I got in with London is what led to all that stuff because a lot of great tours are booked out of London.
Yeah.
So London has been very good to me. Love England.
And you had that show. I forgot. Well, I didn't forget, but the your show in Amsterdam. How long did that go on for?
That late night talk show was 2 years, and
That's
then
it?
they let me. The same network let me be a presenter on a travel show for 1 year. So I was on television in Holland for 3 years.
And that was a pretty big show there, right?
It was,
Yeah.
but I mean, Dutch people are unimpressed with celebrity.
Yeah.
So not like people don't go ape shit and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
And, I got to live there and be on television. I don't speak the language. And it was like having a special passport to experience Dutch culture and the country. And like they explained everything to me about their laws and Each episode, I got to make a 5-minute film where I would experience something of Dutch culture.
Oh, wow.
I spent a day on a Dutch farm, walked into an electric fence. The guy in Dutch said, "Look out for the electric fence," but I don't speak Dutch, so I got a big jolt. I got a tour of the gay scene of Amsterdam.
All right.
The red light district, and the laws were explained to me, and I got to cover the prime minister debates. I did a lot of cool things in that country.
Do you do you want to do anything like that again, like TV?
I would love it. Yeah, I'd like to do something, smart and inventive.
Do you how does that, like the Amsterdam thing, how's that even come about? Like somebody sees you at some international festival and is
that was really, I had moved there for a Dutch girl that I had fallen in love with, was spending half the year playing around Europe, and the girl and I had just broken up, and I was just about to move back to the United States. Mm-hmm. And these people from this Dutch television network were looking for an American to host a late night talk show, like David Letterman, Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
And they had an audition, and it was a bunch of English-speaking comedians. A few guys flew
Who were you
over
up
from
against?
England.
Anyone like that?
Not anybody massive.
Mostly English guys?
Yeah, and a couple Americans.
Oh, okay.
And I had a great set. They saw me at this club Toomler in Amsterdam, and I got the job.
Wow.
And so it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I got to, after this girl broke up with me, I got to stay in this country.
Yeah.
and be on television. So
she's got to see
it was
every
really
night.
It was really a fun experience.
Yeah.
It was a good way to dry my tears by
Fuck yeah. Getting a great job.
being on television and being on TV in the land of cute, beautiful women.
Fuck yeah. Drying your tears on tons of international pubes. Crying right into every international vagina south of the border. I don't know which border.
There's a lot of borders over there.
But yeah, I love the experience, and I love doing shows in Europe, and I'm going to be back in London. I just started going back the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the Soho Theater in London in February, which is a really cool theater.
Everybody's doing that. Or I don't mean I'm not doing it.
A lot of
but
people,
it's like I've been hearing
that's
it
the
more.
cool-
Like Stanhope started doing it a few years ago.
I think he's been doing the Leicester Square Theater, which holds more like 500.
But he started at the Soho because
he
the
did.
guy,
'Cause the
there's a
Soho
guy
is like-
George or something. that
the
runs.
Soho Theater holds like 150,
Yeah.
175
Yeah.
maybe. There's a few different rooms. There's a bigger room upstairs, but that place is like just. I mean, it's.
You don't need a place bigger than that to do comedy.
No, I don't think so. And I was watching Maron's special last night, and Moshe's special also was in a small club. Mm-hmm. And I did my special last year in a theater, and it's a big theater.
Oh,
I don't play very often.
yeah.
I think it's much cooler to shoot your special in a small theater or a club.
Yeah.
Where you have that intimacy that you're always working with.
Yeah, and he can make it look as big as, or it's as big as it needs to be. Like
Dick
that
pic.
Dick pic.
You can always make it look as big as it needs to
Oh, Randy's still obsessed with the dick
be.
pics.
Sorry.
Randy sent me a picture of his dick once.
Did I?
Yeah, when you're in the bathtub.
It wasn't my dick.
Wait, what?
It was my finger.
Oh,
But I did send him a picture of myself in the bathtub.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me warn you about playing with electronics in the water.
I know, yeah. I was very careful.
What would happen if you had your phone plugged in and dropped it in the bathtub?
I think it'd turn.
That
you
wouldn't
on
be a
little
toaster
bit. No, I think
situation,
it'd be like a pleasant little tingle.
My biggest worry would be when you got the phone, like if it got turned back on and that's the first picture. You know what I mean?
Your soapy knob.
Where it's like that's how I did it. I broke it. I was taking a picture of my dick in the bathtub. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I got it to work. You put it in a Ziploc baggie full of rice.
My friend Natalie in Austin dropped 3 phones in toilets over the course of like a month and a half.
Was she on heroin?
She's just, one of those fun girls.
She had a poop picture blog.
Yeah. It's a
Always taking
dookie.com.
pictures of her poops.
Oh, and actually, speaking of cool websites, I recently purchased jizzfarts.com. It's official.
Nice.
I bought it,
Congratulations.
and I renewed gayassfaggots.com for another year. So
that's my favorite.
we need some shit. I've owned gayassfaggots.com off and on for over a decade now. The first time is when I was working at Blue Genie in Austin. And like, the internet was still kind of a new thing where, it was like 2001, 2002. And we were talking about like buying website names, or maybe they just got it for their company. BlueGenie.com was taken, and so they got Blue Genie Art. Either way, we were like drunk. We used to get drunk after work and just hang out at the place. It was like this warehouse where we made big art stuff. And we just were looking up funny names, and gayassfaggots.com was available. So I bought it like back in 2002. Let it lapse, and then recently, like 3 years ago, looked it up.
It was still available?
Still available. So I own it, and now jizzfarts.com. But I don't know. I don't know how to make websites or anything.
No?
Maybe I should sell them to like, Jizzfarts has got to be.
Why don't you just put like one picture up there?
Well, I just want to have them redirect to my site, really. That'd be great, where if somebody goes, what's your website? Jizzfarts.com. Brendon at jizzfarts.com. It all goes to the same place.
Yeah, someone could do that for you pretty easily.
Yeah, I know.
Make an announcement right now.
This is an official announcement from the Bone Zone. Sorry, Tom, I have to make an official
go
announcement.
for it. This is history, please.
Anybody... Attention, all boneheads. Old BW, your side. Am I still the sidekick?
I think it's clear that you're not, Brendon, but I don't think we've made a further announcement since we announced that you were now the sidekick.
Well, I thought it was for a month. You were the host and I was the sidekick.
Well, now we're equal partners.
Yeah. Actually, Tom's the host now.
Tom, you're the host. Congratulations.
And so, yeah, if somebody can help me with some website stuff, just email us at Bone Zone Podcast.
As the host of Bone Zone, I implore the listeners to help Brendon.
We got to do something with jizzfarts.com and gayassfaggots.com.
Do you have no sense of art in your blood, people?
There were a couple other ones that are about to expire, but I have time to deal with those. Linkdoesn'twork.com.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one to have, I guess.
Link doesn't work?
Yeah, linkdoesn'twork.com. So like when people post links on Twitter, a lot of times I'll just like, if you did a tweet, if I saw you tweeted like, hey everybody, I'm going to be in Hong Kong next week, get tickets here with the link, I would reply to you, link doesn't work. So just to make you go, wait, what's wrong? I just do that to people all the time.
Waste people's time, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just wasting people's time, making them think their promotional thing is fucking not working.
'cause that's the worst feeling when you're like, fuck, I have to redo that. And
Yeah,
now there's
yeah.
like 3 people who have already retweeted it.
Yeah. So then I bought linkdoesn'twork.com.
You bought copy scats for me one time.
Yeah, copy scats. Do you want to explain to Tom what
Okay, so
copy
copy
scats?
scat.
This
Copy
is our business
scats is where, hey, I bet you're wondering what celebrities or historical figures people's poop looks like. What we do at Copy Scats is we research that person. Say it's Abraham Lincoln. We find out maybe what his diet was and like the type of places he hung out. We hire a lookalike and we feed them that and we control their environment for about a week, and then we take a picture of their poop. And then we post it on the website. So... George Clooney.
George Clooney was a big one.
I think you guys could get a government grant for that.
Yes.
Annie Sprinkle got grants for fucking way dumber shit.
The first lady, lots of people are curious about what people's
If you want to know what Barack Obama's poop looks like, we'll
hire a guy who looks
Public Information Act. We'll find out what he eats, and then we'll get a lookalike to eat like him for a week, and we'll take a picture of his dump.
My biggest fear with it was, though, that I wouldn't do all the work and that I would end up just taking pictures of my poop every week and posting them.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, we really could just do that. Take pictures of different shits in different toilets.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the actors? They need work.
With the lookalikes?
Yeah.
We can hire an actor to show up and we'll just take a few pictures of them.
Yeah, we'll go to a lineup
Should
at
put
a lookalike.
a advertisement in the trades.
Yeah.
For
Do you look like
actors
someone?
to do a shit study?
To stay in a hotel and be fed
And
what
be
we say.
I mean, at least one episode. That would be a good like internet episode.
It
Get
would
like
be.
a George Clooney. It's got to be like a weirdo lookalike.
You
guy,
can do it
like
as
a guy
real or
who's-
as fake as you want.
Yeah.
The end result's going to be the same. This is going to be a picture of a poop.
What about those people that hang out in front of the Man's Chinese Theater? Why don't you like the Johnny Depp
Find out what
guy?
their poop looks
Yeah.
like.
Everybody what Darth Vader's poop looks like?
Did you know Johnny Depp is a fan of Stanhope's too?
Is he?
Yeah, Henry Phillips is just telling me Johnny Depp fucking called Stanhope.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Cool.
Stanhope's been getting like a lot of heat lately.
Yeah.
Fucking overnight success, that guy. Like, what? He did like a fucking did an open mic, like, what? Who knows?
He's
Not
been,
that
he's
long
been doing
ago.
it for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's not overnight.
I only heard of him for the first time, like, what,
Man Show?
2007? Yeah, Man Show.
Show.
So he's only been around for, what, 8 years? Yeah, we all can't beat Doug, unfortunately.
Yeah, there was that Marilyn Manson tweet.
Yeah,
complimenting
Marilyn
him the
Manson
other
going
night.
back
That
and
was pretty
forth.
cool. That was like yesterday, and then Johnny Depp is calling him. That's pretty pimp.
According to Henry Phillips. Oh, should we call Matt Farley to end the podcast? Because he says that he wants Tom to call him. And
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way to round it
That would be
out.
awesome.
Yeah. How did you like it so far?
I loved
We'll
it.
trim it down a little bit.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, maybe, if there's any lulls. I think it was pretty straightforward. What do we do? Probably over an hour, right?
Yeah, we're at hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Might trim it a little bit. But
You got the guy's song? It's like one.
oh,
of
that's why my phone keeps fucking
I thought
I did
I
that
thought I turned my phone
show.
off. I'm sorry, I ran.
No, that's all right. I taped well, it's too late. If you guys are listening to this, I was on an episode of Chris Hardwick's new Comedy Central show called At Midnight last Tuesday. It's tonight.
What kind of show is it?
It's like a panel. It's fun, actually. I'm not just saying that because they're putting me on it, but it's like a panel type
Name's
show.
Matt, right?
Matt Farley. Should I play a song to him?
No, wait. Let's see.
You can just leave him a message if we get his voicemail.
He might be busy.
He works at like a boys' home or something, right?
He works at like a
Liedtke is how you say your last name.
Hello,
Liedtke.
sorry I couldn't answer your call. Please leave a message.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Matt. This is Tom Rhodes, the comedian. I'm sorry to be calling you so late. You probably have your pajamas on and you're already fast asleep. But I'm sitting here with the lovable Brendon Walsh and Randy Liedtke recording an episode of the infamous Bone Zone podcast. And I heard the song that you made for me. And they played it for me. And I just wanted to tell you I think it was fantastic.
Or you
And
gave him a...
put a
Oh,
big-
sorry, Matt,
put-
this is Brendan.
Put a big smile on my face. Thanks, friend.
You gave Tom your number in your song.
In the
now
song,
he's
you
calling
put-
you, and you're dropping the ball, buddy. So that's it. Tom's never calling you again.
I think a song that great, the man deserves to have some sleep.
Yeah, all right. Dream up a good song. See you next month.
Thanks, Matt.
What'd you do?
Nothing.
Why'd you make that face like
I-
you did
'Cause
something?
I couldn't find the page to hang up.
Oh.
But listen, that's behind the scenes.
Yeah, the Hardwick Show. It's a panel show on. Check it out if you're. Listen, I'm not. Do whatever you want to do, but if you watch Comedy Central at
Come
night,
see me in China.
listen. You have two choices.
You get a flight now.
Listen,
or
or
next week, the week after. Come see me in Beijing.
yeah,
Do something
fucking
insane.
Everybody buy tickets. Yeah, you know what? You only
Come
live
check out
once.
Shanghai. Exactly.
You might fucking die. Like some of the people listening right now, you're gonna be dead in like a week.
You're right.
I bet, yeah, we've had listeners die before. So listen, go to fucking China. Like,
Yeah, go to
do
China, you
what
fucking cowards.
like have never had enough.
If you
guts
don't have a
to do.
passport, you can come see me in Austin, November 30th.
Yeah, go to Austin, you fucking chump stains.
You fucking idiots.
Yeah, you stupid fucking get out of your mom's basement. You dumb listeners.
loser.
You fucking cowards. You're not gonna go to China?
Yeah.
Oh, you're afraid to go to China, you fucking pussies?
Yeah. Maybe next year I'll go to
Oh, no, I can't. I got a job. I can't get off work. I go to China. Get fuck yourself. Quit your fucking job.
Real hex squad. And I'm tired of listening to
Fuck you,
people
you're
talking about how
You fucking loser. Fucking go online, buy a ticket to see Tom Rhodes, get a
I have
plane
watched
ticket.
a lot of
Fucking
Bill
move the whole
Hicks's
operation
comedy,
to China. They
and
got
it's
shitty
not
jobs there
funny,
too.
and it's not insightful, and the stuff that he's saying is pretty darn obvious to anyone with a brain.